Welcome back to the Raventape Drive-in. I'm your host, Mr. Raventape, and this is Splatterhouse. Time for the final push, ladies and gentlemen.
Rick? The woman in this picture? Don't you think,
That she sort of looks like you? Yeah, that's really kind of strange.
Phase 10, The Wicker Bride.
I reached Arkham at nightfall. As my horse, Providence, crested the west ridge, I witnessed a chilling scene, and the purpose of this fool's errand became clear. Towering over the mansion stood a sacrificial wicker man. And inside, a jury of the great and good of Arkham Town had already pronounced judgment. Their intent was plain. Lenora was to be burned as a witch. I rode with haste.
Am I the only one who thought of the Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage? The bees! The bees!
Jen! Sacrifice! It's time! They're gonna kill her!
That certainly looks that way. You're almost out of time, Ricky, so hurry it up.
Oh shit, okay. We're on a
As
We're
I
on a
rode,
timer.
a cacophony of jeers and cries, and such screaming
Get off me.
reached my ears, and I grimly observed that the good Christian folk of Arkham Town have not entirely abandoned their pagan roots. How quickly man will revert to superstition in dealing with matters he does not understand.
I know the original Wicker Man was was it Vincent Price? My arm! No bees, but my arm!
Get you some.
So yeah, like I said, this will be the final push. Hopefully I'll be able to finish the game today and get it all sorted. Not that I've grown bored of this game or anything like that, but it's like when you're so close to the end, it's like, I don't know if you ever get that urge, but there are some games where you just get, you know you're close to the edge, and not the edge, but the end, and you just want to finish it. You just want to see how it ends. And for me, it's like that right now because of this.
I'll take it from here.
One of the things I've had to do since I took a break playing this is sort of reacquaint myself with the controls. It's really weird to play 3 different games, 3 different control schemes, and trying to wrap your head around, not wrap your head around it, but trying to remember each 3. With this timer hanging over my head, I'm going to try my best and stay ahead of it, if that's possible.
A few minutes of time.
I think there's only ever been one Wicker Man ever recorded in history. I don't know if that's correct, so don't quote me on that, but yeah, I think it's only ever been recorded once. But it's an interesting concept. Something like, like when you read about the Salem witch trials and what happened down then, or back then at Salem.
I prayed for help to
And it
any
turned out to
God
be,
that would listen. But it was not our Lord that answered. I could not say what fate befell that mob, only that their shouting and jeering turned to screams, and then a strange, inhuman moaning that chilled my blood.
if knowledge serves me correctly, I think it was the mold on the bread that was making everybody loony. I know it's a tragic thing to say it like that, but
Fuck out, didn't you?
apparently it was affecting their brains and stuff like that. So all these apparitions they would see and accuse people of doing were not real. And then speaking about Salem, you can't talk about Salem without the fact of talking about Giles Corey, the man who defined them.
In that garden last night, I did bear witness of a succession of events I can scarcely guess. They did happen.
So if you don't know about Giles Corey, he basically was accused of witchcraft. Now, if I can get this correctly, he went to court for it, but instead of pleading his case, he went silent. And as punishment, or to make him talk, they basically piled rocks on top of him, and every day they asked him would he confess to this, to his actions, and he just stayed silent. And in a form of defiance against them, he unfortunately died. But people started realizing that these trials weren't just, well, witch trials, you know, a witch hunt for nothing. So if I got that correct, there's a bit of history for you. As with the timer hanging over my head, you will see me probably go berserk mode a few times just to stay ahead of things.
Before the Wicker Man stood a masked brute, drawn straight from the pages of some lurid penny dreadful.
Penny dreadful. Now that's an interesting term, because that stems from cheap books back in the day. Usually like horror-based short stories, like cheap stuff.
In her own voice, Lenora cried out to me.
Darling!
Very
help
convenient
me!
to have these
Jenny, hold
climbing
on.
anchors
No,
there.
Jen! Jen. Rick, she's...
I've heard of people being clingy, but this is taking it to a whole new level. Get off!
Fuck me!
Exactly my thoughts.
That ain't Jen.
Hold on.
I used my talents only to serve mankind. My reward is ruination. So be it. All that remains of my wife are memories and her wedding ring. In time, both will tarnish. Science has failed me. Humanity is a luxury I can no longer afford. I shall put my faith in older gods. I will tear down the gates of heaven to find you, Lenora, and I shall reach them on a stairway built from the stacked corpses of the good people of Arkham. And the body of her masked executioner shall form the final step.
It's interesting he mentions a stack of bodies up to heaven. It reminds me of that song from, I don't know if you've ever heard of the band called Have a Nice Life.
I don't remember inviting two of you.
Oh, Dr. West. I'm Jennifer Willis. You contacted me about doing an interview for the student newspaper? to give your side of the story about the work you're doing at the medical school.
Oh, Hunter.
And
That was
your
it.
companion?
Just had to think about it for a second there.
I hope you don't mind, but Jen and I have a date tonight, so kind of made sense for me to...
Definitely one of my
understand.
favorite bands. And
You wanted to
Yeah,
protect
bands.
your girlfriend
And-
in case anything happened to her.
Deaf
Very
Consciousness
nice of you.
is definitely one of my favorite
also-
albums from them.
Completely futile.
Fang Magla, Tuluvagan.
So we finally understand what happened that night. Gotta give the development team credit. These pre-rendered scenes are actually really good.
Jenny, I'm sorry.
As you can see, now that we're not flailing around it in a portal anymore, we're determined now.
Phase 11. Blood Eclipse.
Must admit that last phase went pretty quickly. Of course, we got to do the superhero land.
Oh my god. It's a little late to start praying now.
I can feel some weird pull. Some force centered way over there.
The final eclipse is approaching. The gateway's almost open. Reality is beginning to unravel. It's time. They're coming. Now we're cooking.
Gotta always make those quick upgrades when you've got enough. I've never actually, I can't remember if I ever did it on my first playthrough ever or not, but I think it takes a bit of time to max everything out.
Rick, my friend, our journey is drawing to a close.
It's West.
No shit.
It's unfortunate we have become adversaries. We share so much. The same interests, the same purpose, the same woman.
Captain Obvious strikes again. Nope. Oh, thank you. Ow. Did I just bump into an invisible wall there? I swear that monster's like a Medusa or something like that.
You know how impulsive young people are, but I understand. You would do anything for Jennifer, just as I've done for Lenora.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mess around, especially when there's two of them hanging about. Ooh, don't want to get too close to that edge. I don't know if there's an invisible wall there or not.
Impressive.
For some reason I can't grab him. I plan to. Are we in for another speech from Mr. Dr. West? Yes? No? Hang on. Now that's just convenient.
What are a dozen lives? 100, 10,000 lives, when measured against one true love. And I've been admiring your excellent work in that regard.
What's happening here?
The corrupted are dreaming this world. Soon they'll awaken and this world will be gone.
Oh, shit! Oh, these things hurt!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did your vagina just say something?
Ah, good times.
Even Rick's over his shit now. Shit. Well, it's not too bad.
It's planned. Take out the
Yeah, exactly. No plan is a good plan. Just go with it.
Don't pretend to panic, Ricky.
You know, I'd love to know if there was ever plans on bringing Splatterhouse back again. Or this put the nail, sort of the final nail in the coffin. Because I don't know, it's a guilty pleasure, this game, that's for sure. But it's definitely not for the wider market either. So, I don't know, I'm torn by it. I love this game. But like I said, it's a very niche market for this game. And yet at the same time, it's like, the way games are going to sell these days, because of the time put into them. Yeah. I'd like to see another one. Ooh, Raining Blood. Who ordered the Slayer? Can I go through now? Yeah, like I was saying, I don't know, it's...
I said good day, son.
I don't think this sold really well when it originally came out. So to me, it's... I don't know, yeah. Like I said, I'm torn. I'd like to see it again, but I don't want to reboot. I'd like a continuation of this story. It's like, I don't know about you, leave a comment in the comment section, but if, has there ever been a movie or a comic book or video game or whatever that has only had a one-off situation from a reboot, or, I wouldn't say if it's had a already long series, but if it was a reboot and you really enjoyed it, but never had a sequel to it or anything like that, I'd like to know what were your favorites? Because one of the biggest missteps for me was Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I enjoyed that game all the way up to, well, the end. If you know anything about that ending of that game, you'll know why. it leaves a bitter taste in a lot of fans' mouths. But don't get me wrong, Human Revolution was a brilliant game and an excellent reboot after, I think it was the Invisible War that was on the original Xbox. And that wasn't received really well. I know Deus Ex, the original Deus Ex, is a brilliant game. But to me, but with Mankind Divided, it had an interesting premise. And it just... Alright, without spoiling the ending, I'll say it this way. It ended as just as it was getting good. And the DLC that came out for it didn't really help the situation much. I think that's why there hasn't been a word on it of late. I might be wrong with that, but you never know what happens. There may be another Deus Ex game down the track, but who knows?
Now's your chance. Rip them apart. I love it when they scream.
The way the voice for the mask carries on when this happens, to me, thinks he enjoys it a little bit too much.
What is this place?
West built this to honor his victims, back when it was still a spot of humanity.
Actually, you know what? Leave a comment in the comment section on games that are just guilty pleasures across the board. I've got way too many I could talk about. This is one of them. Another one, I think it did alright, but another one was
Illuminated by blood. Look around.
whenever I got a chance to play it at my friend's place, was Sunset Overdrive. Now I know, being an Xbox One exclusive, it didn't do too well, but that was sort of a guilty pleasure too.
Now you're getting it, Rico. Keep it coming.
One thing I've noticed about the video game industry as it's evolved is that it's sort of evolved like the movie industry to a degree. Like, you're going to have some well-crafted, story-told games, right? Say like, okay, just case in point, Deus Ex, right? Or, what's another good story one? Mafia. Or even Yakuza, right? You're going to have some well-crafted stories, gameplay and all that are just well-loved. But then you get some games that are complete trash, and you wonder how it got through development. And then you get games that are just so bad they're good. To me, they're the more interesting ones.
One more to go.
because you can see it can either be very, very frustrating because you can see that there's potential in that game. They just didn't have the resources. Okay, just want to take a case in point. I got that on my first go, and I'm actually genuinely surprised. I thought I was going to be fighting a lot more. But yeah, back to what I was saying. You could sometimes see the potential in these sort of games, and they're very what you want. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if they just took a little extra time, it could have been something. And then you can have the same thing is that it's so bad it's good, where it's just generally like it's bad across the board, but because there is something there that just makes you keep coming back to it. Sometimes you can't put your finger on it. Other times you can just nail it down and go, yep, that is the one thing I really enjoy in that game. That's why I keep coming back to it. When you can't put your finger on it, they're the special ones, because you know there's something wrong. You know, ideally you shouldn't be playing this game, and yet you keep coming back to it. I just wasted my meat cleaver on him. I don't know if that was a good plan or not.
Get some? Let's make a mess. What do you say?
Speaking about interesting things, I finally sat down and watched MPD Psycho. Now that's a very niche show that was done by Takashi Miike. Think I got his name right. I've been a big fan of his work for ages with Itchy the Killer, Audition. Well, adding now to the list now is MPD Psycho. Of course, the Dead or Alive trilogy. Another one is
Damn, that felt good. Oh, hell yes! Did you see that shit? Oh, what? No comment? I just caught a fucking
Crow
meteor.
Zero. That was the one. That was the game.
What was
not
that?
the game movie I was thinking of. That was the movie that introduced me to him in his directing style.
144 years ago, I lost everything. No, you took it from me. You took it all when you killed Lenora. You killed my wife.
No, I didn't do anything like that.
Where do we go now? That way. Is the floor sinking? Whoa! The floor is sinking.
Yeah, and like I said, I finally sat down and watched it. All 6 episodes. Oh shit.
It's just a game, Rick. It's all just a game.
Yep, because we'll be right back again. But yeah, like I said, I finally got to watch it. Loved it. Now I'm actually on the hunt for the original manga series, which is going to be interesting to hunt down. But one thing that stuck out of it was the theme song.
Where do we go now? That way.
The Same Blue Sky in a Strange New World by Lucy Moonstone.
Is sinking.
I can see how that... The one thing I loved about that series and just that song in general was how it was used to spread like a disease, as they say. I'm here, I'm trying to talk about MPD Psycho and they keep killing me. Maybe they backed off for a minute, I'd be able to do that. Oh, so if you're thinking about watching MPD Psycho, it's definitely not a series for the faint of heart. Especially the second episode. But I gotta admit that the serial killers they hunt down during that series is... At least the way they portrayed them and the acts they committed were very unique. And I guess that's thankful to the original comic book series or manga series, sorry. That it was one of those things where you're able to sort of sit down excuse me, I'm just trying to get some sort of kills together so I can get my health back. That's better. Yeah, like the first episode with the guy that turns people into flower pots, or their heads into flower pots anyway. I had never seen anything portrayed like that before. The one thing is, I wish it was more uncensored. Now, on the back of the DVD, I have, it says that they tried to reach out and get the uncensored footage so they could put it out, but apparently it was shot on video, so all that censorship that has been put, it's like it's been imprinted into the film, and that they said the uncensored material has been long gone now. Which, if you know anything about the rating system in Japan, you can probably understand why. But from what I understand is that it was Takashi Miike's way of having a go at the censors too. Like, he would even censor things that were not even worth censoring. But I know that the TV series only scratches the surface of what the manga series does, and that's usually par for the course, so that's why I'm hunting it down now. Speaking about Ichi the Killer, did anybody ever see that animated movie made of it? I think it was like episode 0 or something. Oh, it was called Ichi the Killer, but it was classified as like episode 0. It was supposed to maybe come before the movie.
I said good day, sir.
I remember seeing that
Nice one.
way before the animated movie, not the actual live action movie.
Here we go.
Not long after seeing Crow Zero. Oh, how could I forget? I got a copy of Gonzu. It's the one with the cow, the human with the cow's head on the front cover. That's a trippy story too. To most people, what I'm talking about is they've probably never seen them, but give them a chance if you like the weird and very violent world. Or at least give Audition a go. I think that's his most popular film. If you don't know what Audition's about, it's about a man whose wife dies and he proceeds to run an audition. He's a casting director who runs auditions for a potentially new wife. And it goes off the tracks there. I'm not going to say anymore. Just check the film out. It's awesome.
This is not good.
I think when the floor started free falling, it was never good.
Gotcha, bitch. Kill it.
Just throw on some Slayer, you'll be alright.
Get some. Pop 'em like a zip. That looks uncomfortable.
Well, you kind of need a lot of lube.
Uh-oh. Not good.
Hold on, Ricky. Oh, shit.
These free falling spots, they seem to me like they're padding out the level a bit.
No! What should I do?
Just do what feels right. Kill something.
Yeah, kill the big eye in the middle of the room that you've pulled out before.
Gotcha, bitch. I want more.
Thankfully, we're finally out of the garbage disposal. And if anybody gets that reference, 10 points to you.
It's a portal!
Then get moving. The ground's giving way. We have to get across.
Out of the way, boys. Gotta get through. If you don't let me through, I'm coming through. Oh, I can't exit anyway until I kill him. Oh, okay. Just filling in the time. I can't grab him for some reason. Maybe it's the way the camera's being angled. You just can't grab them. You just have to beat the shit out of them. Come on. Let's go. Can we go now? Yes? Awesome. More padding. I don't mean to be mean about it, but...
Paint the walls red.
What do I get? What do I get? What do I get? Yeah, that'll do.
Always dreamed of to go the end of the world. Congratulations. Is it everything you were hoping for? Blah,
Yeah, and more. Always gotta make those last vase breaks before we go anywhere. What? I can't jump over that? Just to make them sure. Just to make sure that I've been here. That's all.
That night, I vowed that all men should suffer as I have suffered. But I was wrong. Pain and suffering are born of life. That much is clear to me now. So this is my gift to you, to all mankind. An end to all suffering. An end to all life. Yes, the corrupted will spare mankind any further pain. And Lenora and I shall be reunited.
Yeah? Well, fuck you.
No, Rick. Fuck you!
Ooh, Grandpa's got words now. But that statue's pretty sick though. Oh, there's 3 of me on the playing board now. Alright. I can do that too. Ow.
Can't take much more of this.
It's like 2 older brothers beating up on the younger one.
Make up supper.
Ow. Let's move on.
The altar. The sacrificial altar is on the other side of the chapel.
I don't know if I feel comfortable about him breathing into my ears. Finally, another pre-rendered video. I give him credit. These are actually generally really good.
Phase 12. The Devil Made Flesh.
This is it. The final push. The final chapter of the game. Or phases, I should say.
Shulu, Plagin, Eo Shubnigarat, Gorgo, Morgo, thousand-faced moon, look favorably upon this sacrifice.
Get your hands off my girl. Jen! We did it, didn't we? We stopped the ceremony. The eclipse is still in motion. Something's still trying to force its way through.
It's too late, Rick.
The sacrifice!
One sacrifice isn't enough to open the gateway. Not one, not 1,000, but 10,000 sacrifices. And you, Rick, you have been the executioner.
No.
I want vengeance for an eternity of agony. I want the corrupted to know that it was me stopped him. To do that, I gotta let him out.
Well, it's been no secret. It's all been about vengeance for them. The mask. Gotta admit, it's a bit of a shitty way to go about it, but... Hey, wait for me.
Please. Rick, help me!
Jenny, I'm coming!
You hear that? That's Jen screaming for
Get
help.
off
Get
me!
moving, lover boy.
I'll take that, thank you. You think with like, is it an exact number of 10,000 sacrifices? Or is it, or can you go over that number? I'm sure you can't go under the number, but can you go over it? Damn it. It's like swatting flies.
Keep focused on Jennifer.
Or was she the last sacrifice? Like we're at 999. Wait, no. It'd be 9,999. But then again, with me killing all of them, do they count? I think I'm looking too far into this. I'll take that. Is he just standing there waiting to... I've done this. Interesting. You know, if he made his way over a little quicker, he wouldn't have to have his minions do the job for him. The boss who stays in the back gets shot in the back. I don't know if I remember that quite correctly, but that was from Shoot 'Em Up, the Clive Owen film. I'm probably annoying people by quoting films all the time, but it's media. You like something, you're gonna watch it, aren't you?
Jennifer!
Nice catch, Rick. Kind of tackling it the same way as the when we took on that doll way back in phase 2. Except this one's a little bit more meaty. Wait, hang on a second. What?
You can watch stars burn out and civilizations rise and fall. But when that payback finally comes around, there's not a second of all that waiting that ain't been worth it.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? We got a deal, remember?
Let me go! It's over! Our deal was to save Jen, and she's safe now.
You sure our deal's over, Rico? You checked on your girl lately?
What are you talking about?
Do you think he's playing this a little bit? Now that he's revealed that he wanted
Lenora,
vengeance.
my love. At last, you've come back to me. I'm here. Lenora, I've been waiting so long for you, my beloved.
Jen, you okay? Jen?
Rick, darling. It's good to be back.
And there it was, the sequel bait to a sequel that we'll never get, unless for some miracle we get one like 50 years down the track or something. Probably be another reboot anyway. So yeah, the credits are silent because of, well, issues. But like with all games, when the credits roll, I thank the development team that worked on this, put the time into it to deliver us it. For better or worse, thank you. Yeah, it's kind of awkward to listen to this in silence, isn't it? But like I said, it's the only thing we can do at the moment. Nice highlights of the game, though. You know, I would like to know if anybody in the comments knows any information about this, but was there ever a planned sequel for this? It's just one of those things like when it leaves off like that, you want something to continue. It'd be an interesting twist on the thing, having her as the villain of the next game. But it also gives away, with the mask laughing at the end, that he knew that there was no escaping the corrupted, or Jen escaping anyway. And he's got Rick in the palm of his hand. Kind of weird when he was pulling off the mask to think that it looked like he lost a lot of his hair because of wearing that mask. Yeah, okay, so in the end, my feeling of it hasn't really changed. It's still a guilty pleasure to play a game like this. I don't know, maybe later on I'll start playing a little bit more of the guilty pleasures, just for the fact that they're fun. I know ideally you would play more popular games to get out there, but to me it's, if everybody's playing the popular game, you're kind of lost in the wash. So to me, playing these so bad they're good or guilty pleasures, they're just, it's more for fun than anything else. And sort of breathing life into potentially forgotten franchises that are long gone now. Like, I haven't heard of anything of Splatterhouse 2. Now, I know there's a original trilogy of games that were on Sega's consoles. And did it ever come to the Super Nintendo? Not sure about that one. I know it was on Sega though. And they're just some games that you'd want to see come back, you know? Maybe one day we'll see something, I don't know. So much effort to put into games these days that I think it's becoming a more of a calculated risk. Like the independent, I was going to say circuit, but the independent market is going to definitely have games where are more experimental and stuff like that. But when you look at big budget games, you understand they've got to return a profit, but at the same time, you also want them to experiment and not stick to the same template. Because, like, how many times can you play the same game over? Now, saying that, I realize there are sports games and certain military shooters that come out all the time on a yearly basis. It's still very good. Maybe it's just people just want familiarity when it comes to games at times too. You do you. That's my advice in life. And with that, we've come to the final end of Splatterhouse. I hope you enjoyed it like I have enjoyed it. And until the next time, good night.